Hello, and welcome to another episode of Level Die. My name is Nick, and today I'm going to be talking about a game that is currently in progress for me. A few weeks ago, I started Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now, Borderlands came out like last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was basically playing that until Borderlands came out. But it super grew on me like really fast, and this is definitely not a game that's for everybody, but I honestly think it's probably one of the best RPGs I've ever played. And I'd like to break down like the first few hours of what happens and my sort of experience with it. And apparently you can do some of this stuff different ways, and I have a few examples of that from a friend of mine who also plays it and loves it. So we're going to get into it. You play as Henry of Skalitz, and you are a blacksmith's son. And the game opens with you oversleeping and your mom coming in and waking you up. And she says, "Well, you get up, fucking lazy bones. What were you doing all night?" And you're like, and you get to do a few audio, what are those called? Like text choices, and those sort of affect like your starting stats. So you can pick like I was at the bar all night, or I was with my girlfriend, or I was getting fucked up with my friends and we were fist fighting each other. And it chooses like speech or strength and stuff, and gives you like little pluses. And then you walk out and you start helping your dad with the errands he needs you to take care of. So you walk out the door and your dad's like, "What up? You overslept. You're lazy. We got to finish this sword, and I need you to run some errands for me." So the errands are gather some money from this piece of shit who won't give you the money back. Give your dad his money back. There's get charcoal, and there's get liquor for your dad. There might be one more, but I don't remember. So I was like, all right, I'm a gamer. I'm going to go. And your dad's like, "You can fucking beat his ass, this dude that won't give his money back if he doesn't give the money back." And I'm like, I'm gonna go fuck this guy up. I walk down there and I'm like, I'm a gamer, I can definitely beat this fucking asshole with my fists right now. No problem. Walk up, the dude fucking shreds me, just absolutely dominates me. And I just didn't even know what was going on. I mean, he just kept like fucking grabbing me and kneeing me in the face and shit. And I just kept getting bodied. And then he beat me and he goes, "Piss off, you're never getting your money back. But you still have to get the money." So there, as far as I know, there are 3 ways that you can do this. And one of the ways is to just beat him in hand-to-hand combat, like right like that. And he will give you it. You can talk to him and convince him to give it to you. Actually, there's 4 ways. You can go into his house, lockpick a chest, and then you can get it. Or you can get your buddies to come over and beat the shit out of him and then get the money that way. So I ended up, after, I was like, all right, I'm going to come back to this. Because I tried sneaking in, didn't have any lockpicks. I was like, all right, where the fuck can I? was like, just fuck. So I was like, all right, I'll come back to this. I leave. I go talk to the charcoal guy. He's like, "You need this much money." And I was like, all right, I don't have any of that. So I need to get it from this dude. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go check out the fucking alcohol. And I go over to the bar, and your friends are hanging out there. And there's this dude talking mad politics. I think I may have trailed off there because I was grabbing my beverage. Delicious. Friday night, man. Got a drink. So they're talking about politics, and he's basically talking against the nation that he lives in, right? And your friends are like, "We should teach this piece of shit a lesson. Like, let's go over to his house that he just painted, and let's throw fucking turds at it." And I was like, and now you can say yes to doing this, or you can say no to doing this. So I was like, well, obviously I'm going to throw turds at this dude's house. So we go over there, we pick up the turds, we throw the turds. But we distract the wife. Like, the wife is sitting up front, so you have to talk to her, and then you have to like convince her to leave. So she leaves. Then you throw turds at the house. Then the the son of the dude who was talking politics shows up with his friends, and then you guys get in a fucking fist fight turbo brawl. Then the cops get called on you, and you run, and then you meet up behind the dude that beat me up to begin with. You meet up behind his house, and because you talk to him when you go to the bar, you're like, "Hey, can you help me fuck this dude up?" And they were like, "Yeah, but you got to throw the turds at this house." And I was like, "Aight." And we did it, and we run away, and we go over there, and then we beat the. I was like, "All right, help me with this." He's like, "All right, you threw poop at that house, and we dig you, so we're gonna help you fuck this guy up." And then they just beat his ass, and then you rob him blind. You take a bunch of his shit, and then you sell it to the charcoal man, and you can haggle in this game with everybody. Anything. If somebody is offering you money or there's money involved in this game, you can fucking haggle for it. And it's a skill. Speech and haggling, it's all a skill. And somebody like, so you go, okay, I want 50, or I want you to sell me this charcoal for 5 gold instead of 10 gold. And they go, it's a little low. And then they go, do, 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 do. And they're like, all right, we'll do 6.5 gold. And you're like, I'll do that. And then you take it, and then, you know, his respect for you goes up, and you get, obviously, it for cheaper, and you can do that with fucking everything, and I do. And apparently, though, there's like this little, it's not apparently, but, and I've never failed the haggling because I'm a gamer, you know, I'm good at games, you know what I'm saying? So this little bar fills up, like it's sort of like their irritation. Yeah, irritation with haggling with you. If it fills up, they'll just cancel the sale, and you can't fucking get anything. So that's pretty awesome. But I usually just take what they offer as their counter offer because I don't think my speech is high enough to like keep going. So I usually just stop after he counter offers my counter offer, and I usually get stuff pretty cheap, like a few gold off, or I make a few gold more like each time, and it builds up. You know, I'm into it. So we get the charcoal, we go back to your dad, and this cutscene plays. You guys make the sword, and then your dad goes, so the dude you threw turds at, he came to my house today, and I have to fucking pay to clean his house now, and you like totally disrespected me by doing this because I have to run a business and you are embarrassing our name. And I was like, fuck. Like, I didn't think it would come back at me like that. And it's these like little decisions that really get you invested. Oh, you had to sword fight too. Your other chore was optional, but to learn how to sword fight. That's what it was. So I did that too. Sword fighting in this game is very complicated. It's tough. It's pretty tough. I mean, you can learn it. I'm learning it. And it's really cool when you get into the flow of it and you start learning it and you start winning. Dude, it's a lot of fun. But for the most part, you get your ass ravaged. It's not like fucking Skyrim. It's not even like, you know, Dark Souls or anything like that. Like, I mean, it's like a really complex first-person sword fighting system that is like super well thought out and really good. I mean, you can attack each limb basically. So you can do top right, top left, head, or bottom right and bottom left. You can feint attacks. You can parry. You can guard. You can kick. You can thrust. You can do heavy and light attacks. You can, people wearing different armor are affected by different weapons. There's a skill in each weapon that you can get, like axes and swords. Shields is a skill. Armor is a skill. Weapon repair is a skill. Like there's a skill. I knew that I was like in love with this game when I was just like, well, I'm gonna go play Farkle, because you can play Farkle in any bar in the game with just NPCs, and it's that game where you it's like a bet taking game where you have to score on every roll, and you just keep rolling until you bust or until you cash out with your points. And you have to beat the other dude by getting to 4,000 points first. And fuck, you can make and lose a lot of money in this game playing Farkle. So I knew that I was falling in love with this game when I went out to the tavern. And I was like, I'm just going to fucking drink and see what's up. And I drank like 4 beers. And my dude got so hammered. It's because it's slow, right? I was like, boop, 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 boop. Did all 4 of them because I was like, I'm used to like, Fable and Skyrim and shit. Where my screen's going to shake and then that'll, I'll throw up and that'll be the end of it. He just kept getting more and more and more drunk. And so if you're like a little buzzed, you get benefits to your character. Like you get +1 strength, +1 charisma, -1 intelligence, right? When you get jabberber, when you get fucking wasted, you get minuses and all of those stats and like a double minus in intelligence, and nobody fucking likes you. And your screen is like turning fucking left and right and upside down and shit, and your character's just slamming into walls. It's wild. And he got so drunk that he literally blacked out, and it took me to a sleep menu, and it just like showed me sleep for 6 hours, and it was like, you blacked out. And then I woke up, and it has like there's all these little like symbols at the bottom where your health and stuff is, and each one is like sort of like a buff or a debuff. And I like went into my menu to look what this like symbol was, and it was like a hangover. You can be hungover, and while you're hungover, like you're worse at combat, you're worse at conversation, and it was just amazing. All of this, like these weird little details that really pull you into being Henry of Skalitz. And I think that's what they're going for. And they do an amazing job making you feel like Henry of Skalitz and making you fall in love with Henry of Skalitz. Because after you get the cutscene of you and your dad finishing the sword, your village gets attacked. And everyone you know dies. You watch your parents get murdered right in front of you. And so this beginning process that I talked about, where you do those 4 quests, that took like 3 hours. And like not in a bad way, because you're just like talking to people and learning, and they do such a good job of putting you into Henry Skalitz's boots, literally, that it didn't feel like a chore. It felt like I was genuinely living the life of Henry Skalitz. And one of the very cool things about this game is this is essentially, I would say, nearly nonfiction. This is based off of a real set or a real time in history, in a real location in history. And it is the people in this game are based off of or inspired by or directly taken from the culture that this is from, which is in the Czechoslovakia. And that's why there's some fucking crazy names in this game, like super hard names to pronounce, and they're just like knocking them back, dude. Every character is voiced. I mean, the cutscenes are incredible, and it's just like talking. Like a lot of the cutscenes are just like people talking and shit. So your village gets attacked. You escape to the next town. Oh fuck! While you're escaping, you run past this castle. And they're like, you got to go tell the next town what happened. And you go and you run. And as you're running, there is a woman. Your character says, he's like, oh my God, this girl is like these, I think they're the Cumans. The Cumans are trying to break into this girl's house. And if they break in, they're going to rape her and probably kill her. So you have an option. You can save her or you can do something. You don't like necessarily save her, you do something. Or you do nothing and you save your tail. Now, apparently, this event has a huge effect on the outcome of the rest of the game in sort of the way that this character, this woman, interacts with the world and interacts with you, because you can save her. So if you whistle near them or you run near them and you get their attention and you run off, they will chase you instead of breaking in. And apparently a lot of people didn't know this. And you don't see this girl again for like 6 hours of real, like 6 to, I would say even like 8 to 10, 8 hours, 8 hours. Let's go 6 to 10 hours, probably like 8.5 hours of like you just doing other shit. And then they reintroduce this character and then you get the fucking title sequence. Incredible. So you run off to this next village. You tell them what happened. You're like, look, this bad shit is going on. Oh, fuck, my Discord's launching. Okay. And they go, okay, we'll figure it out. And I'm kind of blanking, but you sleep. The princess of this castle kind of talks to you. You hang out, kind of learn how to be a human again. Some tutorials, some stuff, some cutscenes, some hanging out. Then you get like this fucking crazy quest where you want to go and you want to go bury your parents. And you have to steal a bunch of armor to do it. So to like look like it's like this crazy process where you got to get a horse, get through the gate, and the way to get through the gate is you need armor that looks like the people who live there. Apparently, which is not what I ended up doing. I ended up going through the gate by lockpicking the chest, getting the armor, putting it on, bribing the guard, and horsing out. Yeah. Did I miss? I feel like I'm missing something. That doesn't seem like enough time. Do you do that? Oh no, dead air. Dead air. But you go and you bury your parents. You find some dudes there. You get some kills. You bury your parents. Well, actually, you get there, and these bandits fuck you up and take your sword, and then they get run off, and then you come back. Now, I am missing some stuff. So when you get there, you sleep like for a night, and then they make you like a guard for a night, and then the people from Skalitz who survived sort of sneak out in the rain and go to another place. And then is that the hunting trip before or after you bury your parents? I feel like it's after. Well, we're just going to talk about some events now, I guess. It's going to be kind of out of order because I don't remember exactly when they took place because it was just so much. So you bury your parents, and then some bandits show up and they fuck you up. And then the dudes from the village that you were at, the second one that you went to, they come and they save your ass with that girl that may or may not have been raped. And then you go back and then the game opens up. And then you get free reign basically to do what you want. And you can walk around, but there's missions that you still got to do. Like it's like report to this guy, and he's got some shit for you to do because you're basically in service to the dude that you built the sword for. You're basically like his squire now, so you do shit for him. And yes, okay, it is after. Oh, here we go, dude. I'm remembering now. Yeah, the hunting trip is fucking way after that. Okay, we're good. I'm back on track here. There's just so much. I spent so much time playing this game, and I just barely that's fucking 6 hours, dude. 8 maybe hours, and then you can start talking to that girl. And so after 8 hours, you're not going to restart your game just to save that girl, So they basically make you live with your decision, and that's pretty rough. And a lot of people were like, fuck, dude, I wish I would have saved her, because apparently the story she tells if you don't save her is, super dark. So they make you a fucking patrolman in a town, and then you follow a dude around, you do some chores, and then you go and you close up a bar. And there's this dickhead fucking prince there, and he was giving you a hard time, and he's like, "You're a peasant, and I'm a fucking, I'm like a I'm a prince, and you're fucking worthless or whatever." And you go to the bar and you try to close it up, and he's like, "This bar does not close while I'm sitting here." And he goes, "Well," and you go, "Well, it's about to close right now." And then you guys get into a fucking fist fight, and then the king of this area, I don't know if it's actually like, there's like a king of the nation, but he's like below that, he's like like, he owns this like castle, he's like a castle man. And so he goes, "All right, you guys are going to go on a hunting trip tomorrow morning, and we're going to teach you guys how to be civil." And you're like, "All right, bring it on." And then, so before that, you get this mission where you sort of learn archery. You learn how to sword fight, and you learn archery. And in the archery mission, dude, archery is so fucking hard. Until you get to level 5 of it, you can't hold a bow straight. And if you're not wearing like fletching on, or if you're not wearing like an arm guard, you will fucking strip your arm with the fletching of the arrow, and you'll take damage. So. And you're also like a fucking drunkard, dude. Like, you're swaying and shit. There's no aiming reticle. Like, you literally have to aim your shots and be skillful. It's intense. It's very intense. So this prince dude challenges you to archery. He's like, "Well, let's see if you country bumpkins can fire an arrow." And you're like, "I'm gonna fuck you up, dog." And it's super hard. And then you pick up the bow up, and it's like fucking impossible. I managed to win with 1 second left, or no, you had 4 arrows, and I managed to get like +5 points on my final arrow, and then he missed, and I fucking beat him. And then he gives you his bow, and then it's a pretty fucking great bow. So you get that bow. Then you guys go on this hunting trip, and you use the bow, and he goes, "All right, look, I'm going to challenge you again to who can hunt the most hares." And he's caught 2 dogs, and he's skilled in archery. And you're like, "All right, but the winner, if I win, you got to give me 200 gold." He was like, "All right, let's go." And you guys go, and you guys get until noon. You get like 8 in-game hours, and you're just like creeping around in the forest by yourself, just having a good time, trying to win, not because you have to, but because you want to. Like, I was literally feeling myself getting a little bit better at archery as I was playing this little hunting trip. And it's just this incredible way to put you deeper and deeper into the shoes of Henry Skalitz. And I got 3 hares, and I beat him. And it was just the most incredible feeling to walk back. Like, noon hits, and you walk back to the camp. And I'm like, fuck, I wanted to get 5. Like, I was like, he's probably going to have 3. And I'm like, shit, like, or he's going to have 4, I was like, 5 is my magic number, but I managed to get 3 because I just could not for the life of me catch 2 more. And I walk up, and he goes, "All right, well, you beat me." And then he hands me, fuck, like the most money I've seen in the game so far. And I was just like, yes. And he's like, "All right, we're going to go fuck up a boar now." And I was like, okay, let's go fuck up a boar. And then he's like, "You're just going to use a bow? Like, boars, like, and so the prince is like, "I'm going to use this bow to hunt this boar." And Henry's like, "Boar is a spear hunting animal. Like, an arrow is not going to be enough." And he's like, "Look, I'm a fucking pro, and I am going to fucking fuck this boar up." And you get this good cutscene of, like, he shoots the boar, and the boar falls over, and the prince looks at you, and he goes, "Well, what do you think of that?" And then the boar gets up and just sprints through the woods. And you're like, shit. And he just, on his horse, and you're, like, on foot, and and then the next objective. And they have these, dude, the area, okay. Borderlands has area objectives, okay? Little preview to my fucking one of my next episodes coming out. But, and then you have to, like, find the object within it. The area objectives in Kingdom Come Deliverance are fucking massive, dude. It's like a 5-mile fucking location that you have to look for one dude and a boar. And I'm like, don't know what I'm looking for. And I'm like wandering around. And then I find this fucking camp. And at this camp, the prince is tied up and there are 2 fucking bandits holding him captive. And he's like talking mad shit. He's like, I fucked your mom last night and she wasn't even that good. And you're just like, oh shit. And then the objective changes. It's like, you got to save him. And I'm like, oh fuck. Okay. You're like, all right. I can do this. And there's a saving item in this game. You can't just save whenever you want unless you save and quit. It's like Iron Man mode on fucking XCOM. Everything that you do just saves, and then if you want to leave, you have to save. And every time you quit, you save, and then it auto saves occasionally. I died once during this twice. Died twice and had to redo it. Then I used a schnapps. It's called Save Your Schnapps. And you drink it, and then it saves the game right exactly where you're at. And so I set myself up to get like a good vantage point. I hit one of the dudes in the chest with an arrow and then jumped in and then just like, he was like, what? And I just I had an axe at this point, and I just axed this motherfucker to death, dude. Just slashed the shit out of him. And then his friend comes up, and I'm like fucking blocking and parrying and shit, and I just cleave that motherfucker to death and then save the prince. And dude, I got this axe from, there was just like this random roving bandit on the ground. I didn't have a weapon, right? This is like just after I woke up from like my coma after getting my ass beat by those bandits in the village in Skalitz. And this bandit runs up and he's like, I'm gonna fucking give me all your money. I'm like, fuck you, bro. And I just started punching him in the face. And just hitting him in the face, and he like can't get his axe head off, and then they give up. They go, oh, I give up, and then you can in this game, like in Skyrim, they'll do that, and then they give up in quotation marks, and then they get right back up and they start attacking. In this game, when they give up, they fucking give up, and you can kill them, you can let them go, or you can like take their shit. I was like, well, you're not walking away with your weapon. And he goes, all right. And he drops his weapon on the ground, and he just fucking sprints in the opposite direction. Pick the axe up, got a weapon, lit. Use this axe to kill these 2 bandits that are guarding the prince. Save the prince, and the prince is like, you saved my life. And you really feel this connection building between the 2 of you, and it just feels so natural. Like, dude, you don't like this guy to begin with, but then you keep like challenging him, and you keep like, I guess some people lost, not to stroke my own penis, but like I said, I'm a gamer, I'm good at games, you know what I'm saying? And you definitely can lose. You can definitely lose because this game doesn't give a shit about you, and because it wants you to like do it your way. He wants you to play it, and it wants you to live it, and it wants you to be. So save this dude's life, and you just feel this connection building. You're like, dude, this guy's actually kind of cool. Like, he was talking mad shit to those bandits, didn't give a fuck, was like gonna die. And that boar hunting scene was hilarious. And like, I was like, fuck, I kind of like him. Like, he's growing on me, and I'm hoping that we can spend more time together. And it happened naturally. It wasn't like my character just likes him. I felt the like, which is like super rare. I mean, the writing in this game is incredible. There's another, I'm not going to talk about that quest because it's really fucking good, and I don't want to spoil it. It's the priest quest. If you get there, drink with him. All right. If you play this game on my recommendation, which I do recommend you play, when you get to the priest, drink. It's going to be so good, dude. You're going to love it. All right? It's a fucking great quest. And it's like a fucking hour long, dude. And it's like, no, it's part of the main quest. Like, you actually have to do something with this guy. Like, you have to interact with him. But like, the thing about this game is technically I'm like still on the first quest, like the first major quest, which is like find out information about what the hell is going on, figure some shit out. And dude, it's just like hours and hours of like walking around, investigating, talking to people, figuring things out, walking around, finding the right people, talking to the right people, asking the right questions. And I will say it gets just a teeny bit boring when you kind of like don't have a lead. But when you start like picking up the pieces, like there's a part where you have to find a dude who ran away from a murder scene. And you get some clues and they just shoot you into a forest that is like 20 miles of forest. And I'm like, fuck. And I was just running back and forth around in this forest, headed the complete wrong direction from where I needed to go at first. And it was in the middle of the fucking night, like an idiot. And I mean, that was a little frustrating, but it's natural. It's sort of like, because then you sort of like start picking up the pieces where you're like, oh shit, oh, I'm going to go investigate over here. And you see something and then you get a clue and then it narrows your area and then you go to the next clue and it narrows your area and then you go to the next clue and it gives you like a path of quests that you can do, which is like, kill these 2 bandits or whatever, and you're like, all right, I'll go fuck these bandits up, and then you get fucked up, and then you win, and then you go back, and then you figure out where the guy is, and then you ask the questions, and and it just goes and goes and goes, and I mean, it's just amazing. It's an amazing amount of direction, like the way that you are pushed through things, it feels like you're living it. There's no quest markers, no like direct ones at first, and it just feels so good to complete things in this game. I haven't looked up a fucking thing yet. I haven't looked up anything online. I am like figuring this shit out myself. Like I'm trying to be Henry. Like sometimes, I'll be honest with you, it's like I just don't want to deal with it. Like in archaic fucking old games where it's like you have to talk to everybody. Like I just like all the Pokemon games, like you gotta talk to like one dude to like get like an item, and I'm like, fuck all that noise. I just Google it up, figure it out, move on, because I don't have the patience for that shit anymore. But in this game, the way that the story and the missions are structured, I don't find myself needing to do that because I feel like, because they've already put me in his boots so much that I don't feel like it's a waste of my time to like search around and really try and, oh my God. Okay, so I just forgot like a huge thing. There's like this attack on this little village, and this is what you're like investigating. Like this is what you're trying to find when the guy that ran off, right? And it's like you also got to find the bandits. Like one of the quests is like find the bandits that raided this place. And I was like, okay. So I follow the blood trails. I'm like walking around, like talking to people. I can tell like some people are kind of suspicious. And this was one guy in particular was pretty suspicious. And I was like, that guy's kind of suspicious. Talk to everybody, get information. And then I'm like looking. I'm like piecing together in my mind the sort of direction this attack took. And I'm like, okay, started here, went through the main village, killed all the fucking horses, and then they escaped. I'm like, okay. If I was a bandit and I was going to escape, where would I escape to? I'm like looking around, doing like walking around the village, trying to figure out where I would go. And I see this big section of woods, and I was like, that's where I'd fucking go. And I walk into the woods, and I'm like, nothing's happening. I'm like walking around, and then it's like, boom, you found him. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I had to fight like 2 guys, kill them, because I'm a fucking gamer, fuck them up. Took their shit, took their swords, took all their crap. And get like some quest pieces, and then an NPC runs away. And that's when you start hunting that NPC. I cannot believe I forgot that. That quest is so fucking good because I kind of just ruined it for you. My bad. But I mean, you're going to figure it out either. You have to fucking go in those woods and figure it out, or you're going to be stuck there. But it took me like an hour and a half to figure that quest out, because I was talking to everybody, walking around, checking my quest log, thinking, walking around, looking, investigating, and it didn't seem boring. It seemed fucking exciting as shit because I was just using my fucking big brain. It was cool as shit. then you get to the dude, and you find the guy, and you do all this shit, and you get information, and then you get, like, basically the quest continues, and then you find out, like, and it leads you on another quest, and then you keep going, and then you keep going, and you keep going, and then you get to the priest, and you hang out with the priest, and then you get to a murder at a village, and you got to figure out the murder at the village, so that, and then you got to talk to the priest, and then you get the priest, and then you figure out, this dude, you blah 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 blah, and it's fucking crazy. It is so crazy. And I just dig the shit, and that's where I'm at, and that's where I stopped. And I'm, like, basically planning this raid on this bandit camp, and it is just an incredible, incredible game. And I want everyone to play it. It's on Xbox Game Pass right now, and I definitely recommend that you play it. It's like a fucking 200 hour plus fucking game that you can just sink your time into, level up your skills. And oh my god, one of the coolest features about this game that I've always wanted in a game, if you don't follow the main quest, it will just continue on without you. There are certain quests where it's like you have a time limit to do them, and if you don't do them, it'll just move on without you doing it, from what I understand. And I love that concept, because it adds to the tension, it adds to the immersion, it adds to your want to do of the main quest, and I fucking dig it. So I'm going to end it here. I highly recommend this game because I'm still in progress. This is not a full episode. This is a level die in progress. A level die episode, but it's an in progress. So basically like a mini-sode. I might do a few of these. These are kind of cool. I might do one on Teppen. I've been playing a lot of Teppen lately. Might do one of those because it's just sort of like a mobile game, but I'm not as in-depth on it as I was for Duel Links. But I give this game like a fucking 8.5 out of 10. It's not for everybody, though. It's definitely not for everybody, and it's not for someone who doesn't have the time to put into it. You are going to want to play this game for 2 hours plus each time you play it. You can literally just get in, play 30 minutes, and save and quit. And it will leave you right there, and you can maybe move the quest forward a little bit. It's great. Highly, highly recommend it. It's a fucking great game, and I can't wait to put more time into it. I'm honestly also working on Final Fantasy VII right now. Fucking awesome, sweet game. Never played it before, and I'm going to do a podcast on that soon. And just having just a great time. I'm playing games right now. Borderlands, and Final Fantasy VII is sort of my backup game right now. Gears for the multiplayer. It's been good. I'm digging this shit. It's release season, so games are coming out. So 8.5 out of 10. It's not for everybody, but it's fucking great if it's the game for you, and I highly recommend it. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend. Simply be despair, and thank you for starting your weekend with Level Die. Have a good one. See you next time.